When most people imagine retirement, they picture peace. A slower pace, quiet mornings, maybe coffee by the window and birdsong in the background. But what no one tells you is that the quiet can sometimes get too quiet. The silence, once peaceful, begins to sound like something else, like emptiness. And that's where this story begins. Meet Linda, 68, retired just a few months ago. She'd spent her life surrounded by people, co-workers at the library, neighbors she'd greet every morning, the hum of the city outside her window. But now, days pass in near silence. No alarms, no conversations, no schedule. Just the soft sound of her own footsteps moving from room to room. First, she loved it. The freedom felt like fresh air after years of deadlines. But freedom without purpose can quietly turn into drift. And drift is one of the biggest dangers of living alone after retirement. If you're retired or nearing it, listen closely, because this story could save you years of regret. Linda's first few weeks were blissful. She woke when she wanted, napped whenever, ate what she liked. It felt like a reward after decades of structure. But soon she noticed something strange. She'd forget what day it was. Sometimes she'd go 3 days without leaving the apartment. She thought, "I'm fine, I just need rest." But deep down, rest was starting to feel like retreat. That's how the first pitfall begins. The slow loss of rhythm. Without a reason to wake up early, time starts to blur. And when you live alone, there's no one to remind you that you've been sitting too long, scrolling too much, or skipping meals again. One morning, Linda caught her reflection in the mirror. Her face looked tired, not old, just dim, like her spark had lowered. That's when she realized something. It wasn't time that was stealing her energy. It was inactivity. So she wrote a simple note to herself and taped it to the fridge. Structure gives life meaning. Changed everything. She made a morning routine: coffee, short walk, breakfast, music, and journaling. And the best part, her energy returned. If you're listening now, make this your sign to act. Start small. Even writing "wake up by 8" can reset your day. Don't wait for motivation, it comes after movement. And if you're serious about taking that step, type "reset" in the comments. Let's see how many of us will reset our mornings together. But Linda's story didn't stop there. The second danger crept in quietly. False connection. She thought she was staying social. She texted her daughter daily, commented on her friends' photos, and joined a few Facebook groups. But one night she realized she couldn't remember the last time she heard someone laugh in the same room. Digital connection isn't the same as human presence. A message is not a hug. A like is not a conversation. That night she sat on her couch, phone glowing in the dark, and whispered, "I talk to everyone and yet, I talk to no one." So she decided to fix that. The next morning, she found a community board at her local cafe advertising a neighborhood book club. She hesitated. She hadn't joined a group in years. But something inside her said go. That small choice became a lifeline. She met others her age, laughed over stories, and felt seen again. Connection returned, not through Wi-Fi, but through eye contact. If you're watching this, don't scroll past this part. It might be the one that changes your next week. Look up a local class, a club, a church, or even just say hello to your neighbor. The longer you wait to reconnect, the harder it becomes. Do it today, because tomorrow might be quieter than you expect. A few months later, another challenge appeared. Safety. One rainy afternoon, Linda slipped in her bathroom. She didn't fall hard, but it shook her confidence. The thought hit her like a wave. What if she couldn't get up next time? Who would know? That's when she realized independence isn't about doing everything alone. It's about staying capable for as long as possible. She installed brighter lights, added grab bars, and wore a smartwatch with an emergency alert. She even gave her spare key to a neighbor she trusted. If you live alone, this is not paranoia. It's preparation. Pause this video and ask yourself, if I fell right now, who would know? That question saves lives every day. And here's your gentle push. Don't put this off until next month. The safest time to prepare is before you need it. If you want more simple senior safety tips, hit the like button, So YouTube shows this message to more seniors who might be one accident away from danger. As the seasons changed, so did Linda's habits. Without realizing, she'd started spending more online. Subscription after subscription, little impulse buys to fill her time. Retirement savings aren't endless, and soon, she noticed her balance shrinking faster than she expected. That's the fourth pitfall. Financial drift. Without work structure, spending can quietly slip. So Linda made what she called her Sunday reset. Every Sunday evening, she reviewed her spending, set small goals, and planned her week's meals and outings. It gave her a sense of control again. Money doesn't just fund freedom, it protects it. You work too hard for your savings to disappear quietly. If you're living alone, give yourself a check-in day. Even 20 minutes a week can save you months of stress. And if you find budgeting overwhelming, comment "budget" below. Because Reset for Seniors is planning a video that breaks it down simply for retirees like you. But even with safety and finances in place, there was still one thing Linda had overlooked: her health. She'd always thought of herself as active. But now, without the daily commute or walking to the library, her steps dropped. Sitting became her default. Her doctor gently told her, "Your body listens to your habits more than your age." That stuck with her. So she started moving again, not for fitness but for freedom. Every morning, she walked 1 block farther than the day before. It wasn't easy, but she noticed something magical. Her sleep improved, her appetite stabilized, and her mood lifted. Movement is medicine. It's not about how far you walk, but how often. So here's your gentle challenge. When this video ends, take a 5-minute walk. Just 5 minutes. Because every step says to your body, "I'm still here, and I'm still living." If you do it, come back and comment, "I walked." Let's fill this video with small victories. But the hardest danger of all wasn't physical. It was emotional. Linda fell into the comparison trap. Scrolling online, she saw retirees traveling, remodeling, celebrating, and smiling. And she thought, maybe I'm doing retirement wrong. Comparison is the thief of peace. When you start measuring your joy by others, your own blessings fade from view. One quiet evening, she sat by her window, a cup of tea in hand, and realized, I don't need to be busy to be happy. I just need to be grateful to be here. That shift changed everything. She stopped chasing someone else's life and began cherishing her own. If you've been comparing, this is your wake-up call. Your journey is not behind. It's uniquely yours. Type "grateful" in the comments if you're claiming peace over comparison today. Now let's recap Linda's journey. The same path many seniors walk, sometimes without realizing. 1. Losing structure. Time slips when you don't give it shape. Start small, build your rhythm. 2. False connection. Replace digital noise with human presence. Join something. Say hello. 3. Safety ignored. Plan now. A simple fall can change everything. 4. Financial drift. Manage your money before it manages you. 5. Health neglect. Move daily. Even short walks rebuild strength. 6. Comparison trap. Your life is not behind. It's evolving beautifully. Each of these dangers is quiet. None feel urgent until they are. And that's exactly why this message matters. Don't wait until loneliness, debt, or a fall forces you to reset. Start today, intentionally, proudly, gently. Because retirement isn't the end of your story. It's a new chapter that deserves to be written with care. If this story spoke to your heart, don't let it stop here. Hit the like button right now so more seniors see this before they fall into the same traps. Subscribe to Reset for Seniors, where every story reminds you that your best years aren't behind you, they're waiting for you to live them. And share this video with someone you love, because one share might save someone from silence, from isolation, or from giving up too soon. Remember, independence isn't just living alone, it's living aware, safe, and connected. You're never too old to reset. As Linda closed her window that night, she thought about how much she'd learned in just 1 year of retirement. It wasn't the life she had pictured. It was quieter, slower, sometimes lonelier. But it was also deeper, richer, and strangely freeing. She realized that aging alone doesn't mean being alone. It means having the chance to know yourself in a way you never could when the world was rushing by. The next morning, she brewed her coffee and opened her front door to greet the sunlight. Her neighbor, Mr. Daniels, waved from across the street. He was 73, widowed, and had been meaning to start morning walks. So she smiled and called out, "Come on, let's walk together today." And just like that, two people who once lived parallel lives began walking the same path. That morning walk became their daily routine. Some days they talked about books, sometimes about loss, sometimes about silly little things like how expensive coffee had become. And every time, Linda realized something powerful. Connection doesn't require crowds. It just needs courage. One morning, Mr. Daniels said softly, "You know, Linda, I thought retirement meant waiting for the end. But now it feels like I just got my life back." She smiled because she understood exactly what he meant. Weeks turned into months. Linda started volunteering at a senior center twice a week. She helped organize movie nights and afternoon talks for retirees who were struggling with the same isolation she once felt. The joy that came from helping others became her new kind of purpose. And slowly, her home began to fill with laughter again, not from visitors but from herself. It turns out that one of the greatest cures for loneliness is service. When you give your time, your presence, your smile, you don't just help others heal, you heal too. So if you're living alone right now, wondering if your best days have already passed, this is your reminder. You still have chapters to write. There are still people waiting for someone like you. Someone kind, wise, patient, and full of stories that can light someone else's way. Linda's final realization came one quiet Sunday afternoon. She was sitting in her kitchen, the same place where she'd once eaten in silence, now surrounded by reminders of life. Photos of her book club, a letter from her granddaughter, flowers from a neighbor. She whispered, "I thought retirement was the end of my usefulness. But now I see. It's the beginning of my influence." Her eyes filled with tears, not of sadness but of gratitude. She had built a new rhythm, a new circle, a new reason to wake up each day. That's what it means to reset. If you're hearing this right now, maybe life has slowed down. Maybe your phone doesn't ring as often. Maybe you've caught yourself watching the clock, wondering where the hours go. But what if this quiet chapter isn't the end? What if it's an invitation? An invitation to rebuild, to rediscover, to reset. Start small. Call a friend. Join a group. Step outside. Make one choice today that your future self will thank you for. Because life doesn't retire, it reinvents. And before you go, don't let this message stop with you. Click like so YouTube knows to show it to someone who might need it tonight. Click subscribe to Reset for Seniors, where stories like Linda's remind us that every sunrise still holds a new beginning. And share this video with a parent, a friend, or a neighbor who lives alone. You never know which story could save someone from giving up too soon. This is Reset for Seniors, reminding you, you're never too old to start again. You're never too late to matter. And you are never truly alone.